Welcome back. Last week, the Pentagon demanded that the return of an underwater drone that was seized by China as an American crew was moving to recover it. Ken, we all love the drones we can buy at our local electronics store, but do you think drones are an ethical thing for our military to possess?
You know, I for one look forward to the takeover of Skynet, but you know, so there's two different types of drones you got to consider. There's the unmanned surveillance drones that you send them into an area, and those can be air, land, sea, whatever. You send them into an area, and they give you reconnaissance on an area, and they tell you what's going on in that area without putting any lives at risk. All right, those are unmanned and unarmed. I'm okay with those. I am perfectly fine with those. Those save lives. The ones that I have a little bit of concern on are the ones that are armed. The ones that have rockets and missiles and who knows what else attached to them. Some of them are actually just guided bombs, and I'm a little concerned about those just because it removes the human element from the equation. Because if you have someone sitting in a fighter jet, all right, or let's say a bomber, and they're getting ready to make a run, and at the very last moment they realize, oh hey, there's something wrong, they can perform a last minute abort. When you have a drone, which is oftentimes controlled from possibly halfway around the world, you remove the human element because you don't have a person sitting in the cockpit. It's kind of a psychological thing in that they're not sitting in a cockpit. Now they're just staring at a computer screen, and it's the same as playing a video game. And that worries me because it ends up dehumanizing warfare. So
you're concerned that they're going for the high score?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very concerned about that, and they're not worried about racking up negative points.
And one of the things regarding the drones is this was a scientific drone, from what I understand.
Yes.
It was gathering data. Okay. The fact that that a warship from China sees it in international waters, that's a big issue. But on our technology, and I suggested this to some other people, and then we started a real long banner back and forth on Facebook, that we should have some kind of self-destruct technology, regardless of whether it's a scientific drone or not. Not something to harm anybody, but to not allow our technology fall into hands that it shouldn't be possessed by.
Right.
And then this would have become a moot issue. Oh, well, China fished it out of the sea. Well, it kind of imploded as soon as
hit the implode button and it's
gone. Yeah, it's gone. They don't have anything. How we handled it post-issue, I think it was kind of like the Three Stooges talking. Okay, yeah. It's like this. No one expected that China was going to provoke. I think they're pushing and trying to push. And Ron, I think you've seen this in other times.
Yes.
Okay, that there's a more of an aggressive nation trying to launch an agenda.
We've had boats that's been taken. We've had a lot of problems on the sea. Spy planes. Remember the pirates when they were boarding vessels and taking cargo. You've always had these issues. But we get back to a manned drone. We're talking several different kinds of drones. I'm waiting for the day that there are a group of people that say a manned drone falls under the Second Amendment right. And manned drones are drones that are manned with bombs, with missiles or whatever. I have absolutely no problem doing that. If I've got to fly in to get Osama bin Laden, or if we had to fly in to get someone else into a cave, yeah. Well, but drones were used on many times to find Al-Qaeda in the hills of Afghanistan.
Now that's on foreign soil. What about domestic soil?
On domestic soil, things are going to happen. Goodness gracious, everybody's got a Second Amendment right now to possess a weapon. How do you go in to get weapons away? Waco. Look at Waco all those years ago.
Should our military have right to operate on our naturalized soil?
Well, the military, the Army does not have the right to operate on our soil in a military capacity.
How about the National Guard under state control?
Unless we're in a state of invasion. The National Guard, though, does have the capability to operate on domestic soil. But the question there becomes, well, at what point would the National Guard need to use a drone too?
To break up a cell of ISIS, a cell of all kind of problems.
Okay, what about
Why not?
what about a protest in St. Louis?
Right, exactly.
Well,
Where does the line get drawn, and when do those lines get blurred?
Depends what you're dropping. If you're dropping mustard gas, not mustard gas.
There we go, Ron Bowers. There we go. The next step is you're going to be Trump and pressing the red button.
My point was exactly what you did. I said mustard gas for a purpose.
Okay.
Because something like that could happen from some irresponsible person.
Yeah.
But if you want to go in to do some type of gas that, that immobilizes somebody, some type of gas. Look at what happened to the police officers on the one person here a couple of months ago, just on the spray.
Let's take a situation like Waco. Okay. FBI. Could they have used drones in that situation and help prevent the mass loss of life that we had?
Well, in my opinion, I think a surveillance drone would have been best.
Okay.
Once again, I don't think an armed drone would have been good. Just because, well, I mean, look how many people died with that. I think even if they would have sent an armed drone in, you still would have had that massive loss of life. If they would have sent an unarmed drone in,
but it would have been less loss of life on one side.
Sure, less loss of life on one side. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the people that died, they were unarmed completely.
Mm-hmm. But you're all agreeing, or we're all agreeing, that drones are important. It depends how they're used.
Yes.
And then we sit back and but we get back to the China factor.
Now, so was it a scientific drone?
That is.
Did China know if it was a scientific drone or not, or did they think it was a surveillance drone?
At the depth that this drone was being
But if it's in
used?
international waters, why is it being seized?
Right.
Well,
End of story.
it's in the world's international waters, but China's claiming that as their backyard pond.
So then the question there becomes, well, what if that was a mini submarine then? Would they have still seized it? I
Don't know, but that's an interesting question to go down, and at least we're not in that office.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and that's all we have time for tonight. Next up on the flip side, our panel gives us the facts on the Fountain of Youth. Stay tuned.